Hey, I'm MJ. I'm the brand director for Hest. I'm a born and raised Durangatang, so I just want to take an opportunity to say thanks to OMS for hosting it here and really showcasing the spirit of Durango. I think they did an awesome job, and thanks to Visit Durango too, because I know you guys had a hand in that as well. But small little anecdote, my first W-2 job was working in the gift shop of the train museum and the train depot. And had our high school graduation party here, and we may or may not have been like bootlegging some whiskey in that cart over there. So come a long ways here, I guess, in my career and hometown, but I'm happy to be here. So I work remote for Hest, which is based in Seattle. And just if you're not aware of what Hest is, it started in 2019 by industry vet Aaron Imbusky from the ski industry. And basically, he wanted to solve the pain point of sleeping outdoors. Before Hest, it was sleeping on an air mattress, or a hybrid air foam mattress, which can be like, let's just be honest, not that comfortable. So we make really ridiculously comfortable memory foam camping mattresses, pillows, and bedding for the outdoors. So if you haven't tried it yet, we seriously are as comfortable, if not more comfortable, than your home bed. So he really solved an issue in the outdoors and just allows it to be more comfortable so that you can rest well and get up and really enjoy your day in the outdoors and nature. So before Hest, I owned an experiential marketing agency, and I came on board with Hest to do the brand marketing. And within 3 months, Aaron approached me, the founder, and he's like, okay, I've been having this idea for a long time. I want to do a Hestival, and I want you to put it on, and I want it to be about car camping, and I want to celebrate the spirit of that and just the access that car camping gives for people to get outdoors. So I was like, all right, let's do this Hestival. Like, let's make it happen. So imagining what the Hestival experience was initially the reason that why we created it was that Hest was essentially born into the pandemic. Like, we're a very D2C brand. We, went online and then everything shut down. So we really wanted to invest in community. That was a huge brand pillar from the start. Also, our product is highly experiential. So once you try our products and actually lay down on it, like, I don't care what AI can do online, like, you can't really show that comfort like you can in person. So it felt really important for our brand to show up in events. So we wanted to invest in this Hestival experience, which the first one was 2022. So it was a great time because people were excited to get out into the world and camp together. Also, just state of industry events. It just felt like we were a small startup. It didn't really make sense to go to outdoor retailer, GOA, like other industry consumer events, like, were expensive. So it just felt like, hey, let's put everything into this and build Hestival and build our community. Which we could start from the beginning. We definitely really wanted to be inclusive. Every kid 12 and under is free to come to Hestival. And then we make it really affordable. It's dog friendly. No one's blown that yet for us, which is amazing. So it's a super special experience. So basically, we had like a pretty clean canvas when we were designing the Hestival experience. I put pretty much like an RFP out like nationwide. I was pretty open to like any community territory that Hest was selling, which at that point was, a lot of the Rocky Mountain states, the West Coast, the East Coast. And ironically came up with a location here on the western slope of Colorado called Big Bees. It's between Paonia and Hotchkiss, which is a beautiful area of Colorado. If you haven't been, it's extremely fertile. There's like lots of agriculture and wineries, and it's near the Black Canyon of the Gunnison Gorge, and then it's right over the hills from Aspen and Carbondale, so landscape of mountains. It's really stunning. So they came back with my RFP, and they were like, yeah, we love it. We want to do something like this. We just haven't quite pulled it off. But our specialty is live music. And I was like, that's perfect. I kind of want to blend like outdoor culture and outdoor recreation with mountain culture, which I feel like we can do with live music. And again, coming out of the pandemic, I just feel like that's an experience that everyone enjoys and can rally behind is live music. So we kind of designed the whole event to be like outdoor recreation and activities during the day and like very family friendly. Like, we have hay bale rides for kids and face painting. We have morning yoga. We have hiking in the Black Canyon of the Gunnison Gorge. We have mountain biking nearby, and we're just able to like fill the day with activities. And then at night, we put the live music up with really talented acts. We've had like California Honey Drops. We've had Rising Appalachia. We've had some pretty strong headliners that come in, and that also brings like a bigger crowd into our community that we're building at Festival. So, but the main thing was to foster connections. I don't know if this video is going to work or how I do this. Okay. I just want to play the first 30 seconds of this just to show you guys the vibe of Festival. Get a camp in the apple orchard.
Hey. Yeah.
Cool. So that's the vibe. But anyways, so creating the Festival experience, how we went about it was we really leaned into a lot of partnerships. Again, I come from the experiential side, and I don't really believe in just putting a logo up on a website and calling it a brand partner. Like, that's not what I do, or just putting a logo up on the stage. So I really wanted our brands to come in and activate authentically with the community that we were building. So, you know, if someone wanted to take the morning yoga and host that and find a local, you know, logo person, yoga teacher to lead it, or lead the happy hour, or whatever you wanted to do, or host the mountain bike ride, but just something where they could take pride in owning that part of the event and up level it. So that was a big part of it. Also, we really wanted to not come into this small town and blow it up and just be like, we're just here. I hear we're like the mattress party of the year, which is pretty hilarious. But I like to have like local vendors come in, craft vendors, and also nonprofits, just to make the community feel like they're part of the event, which has been really successful. And then promotion was big, obviously getting this thing off the ground with PR, social media, and then tapping into the bands and live music and promoting them as their show and headliner at Festival. So that just kind of gave more awareness to the event. So we invite a lot of media. If anyone in the room here is media and wants to come in May, we'd love to have you. We'll host you and comp your tickets. We invite our key affiliate members that work with us with our brand. And then we also have dealers. We actually have like our category buyers from REI are like driving down from Seattle. They like love Festival so much. So it's a great opportunity for the brand partners there to also mingle with the dealers in a really fun, cool environment. So, and just our golden rule is like to have good vibes. Like we just put that out there with our team, and that just is a reflection of what the Hess brand is all about. So moving forward into this next year, this will be our 5th annual. I'm really excited to announce that we're dedicating it 100% to public lands in partnership with the Conservation Alliance. I guess the backstory of that was that when everything was going down with public lands this spring, I joined the Brands for Public Lands Coalition. And then I remember going on a trail run with Heather Hansman, local journalist here. And she was like, hey, what can you do with the Hess platform to speak out about this? Like, what can you do? And I was like, you know what? I've been thinking about this. We should just bring more purpose to Festival and give this platform of this attentive audience that really cares about recreating in the public lands and being able to use this as a channel to use advocacy and awareness and education. So I pitched the idea to Conservation Alliance, and they were like the best partners because they immediately got it. And they're like, yes, this sounds great. And we don't want to change the spirit of Festival. Like, we still want it to be about outdoor recreation and everything you do, but let's plan some really cool programming that can really promote like advocacy and awareness in a really key zone in our state. So I'm really excited about that because pretty much majority of all brand sponsorships will be, I didn't want it to be like a smoke and mirror, like we're dedicating to this and what does that mean? Like, basically, all the brand sponsorship money will go directly to the Conservation Alliance, and then the ticket sales from the music will go directly to them, the proceeds. So we hope to raise a lot of money for them, which is great. And if you're a 1% for the Planet member, you can basically count this as your contribution as your 1% for the planet. So we're excited to roll that out in 2026. So save the calendar. It's May 1st through the 3rd. Just for if you're planning your own brand event, I just wanted to give you kind of the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. I guess I'll start with the good and the beautiful. I think that we've done a really great job with building brand and community through this event. It's also been a great content creator for us because all these people are camping in the apple orchard with their rigs, like different RVs, or they're sleeping in their tents in the apple trees. And we have videographers and photographers going around and capturing content and like the spirit of like the community that we want to build. So we get naturally like a lot of content. We have everyone sign the terms that we can use their face and likeness before they sign in. So we get a lot of great video content and photo content, which is amazing. I think it creates really good social buzz for Hess, just in the industry and people that are watching and following along from afar. Oops. And then just being able to have like authentic connections with our customer. That goes into the team bonding. Like we are a team of 11 and we bring our entire team out from Seattle. And it's pretty hilarious. Like I have like my warehouse lead checking people in. I've got my ops guy like riding an e-bike to get people to set up in the orchard. I've got like everyone on the buffet line scooping food for people. And it's just like, we're not an event company. We're like a mattress company, but it's pretty fun to have everyone come together. It's total team bonding. 1 year it rained the entire time. So it was kind of trauma bonding, but we got through it and we always high five. And I think everyone has a lot of pride in the event as a team. So I think it's like a great way for us to start our season. The bad and ugly, like an outside event, weather in the Rocky Mountains in the spring, it's fickle. It's hard to plan around that. So just make sure you have a backup plan. We go rural, which I don't know, for better or worse, we probably could capture a greater funnel if we went closer to a metro area. But I don't know, I live in Durango. I think there's something special about the further it takes to get to somewhere, the more magic that can happen. So I like that it's rural, and I think that it's a great economic boost for that area and that community as well. Music industry is a whole nother beast. I don't know if you've played around in that, but it's a lot of ironclad contracts and, negotiations and whatnot. So if you are thinking about booking music for an event, just be warned or get someone in the industry that knows what they're doing. Insurance, they don't really love outdoor events. So that's a process. I would start early. They don't really love mountain biking at all or anything with bodies of water. So you add dogs and kids to the mix and it's a lot. So, just beware of the policies that you're getting into and having coverage. And it's just a big investment. Like we don't make any money on this, but it definitely is building every year. It's great for our brand momentum and it's totally worth it. And again, I think it's just like a lot of pride for our internal team that we can pull this off. Okay, so get involved next year, 2026, May 1st through the 3rd. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Eat this one?
I'll pray.
Okay.
Is a mic in?
Okay, cool.
I'm loud.
Do you need that?
What's yours?
Good morning.
Can I go without the mic? Nobody hear me? You record. Oh, you need to record. All right. Alrighty, I'm Luke Mihal with the Climbing Zine, and I'm also the host of the Dirtbag State of Mind podcast, and also live here in Durango. So give it up for Durango. All right, I'm going to try to give you guys a short zine thing. So zine things are what we do for our events. They're usually an hour or two, and I'll kind of go into what they entail and how it's beneficial to us. But I want to start with something fun. I want to start with the trivia question. How many climbers do we have in here? All right, so a climber is going to have the advantage on this, and the winner gets a copy of this climbing zine. Before that, I want to actually read you guys a haiku. Usually we'll do like some poetry and stuff, but haikus are shorter. Actually, I have this memorized. This is the best haiku that anyone's ever written for us. It was written at one of our events and published in this zine, and the winner is going to get this zine. Our love is on the rocks. Now you've got me in a jam. You're nuts or my cam. That was by Annie Ashenfelter. And that I could talk about that haiku for 10 minutes. I freaking love that haiku. All right, the trivia question is, this is a climber. This climber is still alive, and this climber discovered super crack. I'm sure some people are familiar with the super crack buttress. And could be considered the very first original climber of Indian Creek. Who am I talking about? Come on, throw out some names.
Alex Honnold.
Definitely not Alex Honnold. Okay, I'm going to give a little bit of a hint. This person was also the first person to solo El Capitan via a new route.
Lynn Hill.
Definitely not Lynn Hill. All right, the answer is Jimmy Dunn. I'm very disappointed. Just kidding. So typewriters are a big thing for the climbing zine. We bring them to a lot of our events. There's a nice typewriter over there actually too. So my journey with all this starts in the late 90s. My writing and the climbing zine and so many things come out of a terrible moment I had when I was in my early 20s, and mental health, depression, suicidal thoughts, all these things. And climbing, in short, is what really helped me come out of it. And at the time, I thought I was the only person in the world that was going through something like this. And now, 25 years later, my story is so common, the story of mental health. And luckily, I found some redemption. And I attended many colleges and kind of bounced around, and I found Western State in Gunnison. Any Western State alumni? All right. And this guy, George Sibley, really changed my life because I wrote a poem for George. I used to sit by the fire by myself and write poetry. And this guy published my poetry. And then he was like, you should do an event. And so that's writing poetry by a fire. And then George having me read my poem at an event just changed my life so much. I also had this lovely teacher as my mentor too, and Shelley Reed. She just blew up with this super famous book. She didn't publish her first book till her late 50s, early 60s, and now she's on this whirlwind tour. Go as a River, definitely check it out. So graduate college, kind of come into that 2008 economy, which was great, And it forced me, I couldn't find a job. When I first moved to Durango, I couldn't even find a dishwashing job. And I was on unemployment. But it was also a glory days in Durango where you could house sit for rich people that would leave for the winter. So I was poor, I was unemployed, but I was living in this huge house here in Durango, which that shit is not happening anymore. So I poured everything I could into zines. I love the format, I love the pug, I love the skate essence of this, the independent essence. Shortly after we started publishing zines, we've always had events, we've always had zine things, and we've had to dedicate to them to people we've lost. So the events, some of our events can be very emotional and they hold space for grieving. And it just added this layer to the zine that surprised me, and it continues to be a place for honoring those people we've lost. This is my friend Adam Lawton, who we lost in 2012, and Volume 4 is dedicated to him. This is the spine of the climbing zine. If you ever buy a climbing zine, starting with Volume 6, it forms a wall. And I did bring, should have had an easier trivia question. I did bring zines for anyone in this crowd that would like a zine. Please come up to me afterward. I'd love to hook you up with one. So zine things are our events. The format is, I get up, I talk about the climbing zine, I talk about my personal journey. And then we open it up to audience members. So it's really cool it's a bold move. Just having someone from the audience, especially in the climber crowd, to come up and tell a story, it's a huge risk, but it often just it produces these beautiful, beautiful moments. We often do, I definitely do local climbing zine things. We'll do a tour if I'm coming out with a book or something like that, but a lot of them in Durango. El Potrero Chico is where I spend my winter, so I spend half my time in Durango, half my time in northern Mexico. And those are actually our most successful events, selling merchandise and things like that. This is from the International Climbers Festival in Lander, Wyoming. I think this is a great representation of our crew, our climbing family within the climbing world, and our youngest supporter there, Zinnia. This is at the Gravity Lab climbing gym here in Durango. We do 1 or 2 there a year, and there's super awesome ways to, get people together to tell stories. This is at Jagged Edge and Telluride. This is another one of our guest speakers, Joanna Spindler down there. I think she was the poet laureate for that area. We give away a lot of prizes, like MJ was saying with their event, being a branding, kind of not making money thing. We do make some money selling merch, but we also give a lot of things away to our our business, the Climbing Zine. The way it really spreads is like word of mouth, like wildfire. These are, often incorporate some hip hop. I'm super into hip hop. I like the culture. And these are like two of my old hip hop head friends who, they look happy right there, but 5 minutes later, they're like arguing about some 1981 track of hip hop, whether it was good or not. And really our events right now are like bringing together, like my friends will bring their like 4-year-old kids. And then we have these older generation, of climbers. Like Dennis there is like 84 or 85, and Jimmy Dunn, he was the one, he was the trivia question answer. He's there on the right. So we've really, and then Jimmy Dunn's son, back there in the background is 20, and he's comes to the events too. So we really have a really cool like audience, right now. And then, this is at Maria's, bookshop in Durango, our local bookshop. And like I said, just like our audience right now is 4 to 85, and it's super cool. I guess like making money, we'll sell merchandise. We have a Dirtbag State of Mind clothing line. The Climbing Zine is like a true labor of love. That it does make money, but like our margins are so much better on selling stickers, So my business is like not about, obviously I have to make a living. I'm like a single income person. I can't really fall back on another person. So I do have to make money, but the heart and soul of the business and the concept is about bringing people together, sharing stories. And then, like I said, it holds a place for grief, because climbing and I think skiing, some of these other sports fit into this too. We're losing people, and we're losing young people, and that shit's really hard to deal with. And so I think it's important to hold space within our writing, within our events, to like remember those we've lost. And it's kind of taken this heavier tone within my writing. Like when I was younger, I just used to write about living in a tent and dealing with my mental health problems. And then now I've gotten older, we have to hold space for those we've lost. So, I guess my last one, this is our very first issue of the Climbing Zine. And this is the one that's about to come out, volume 26. Happy to answer questions as well afterwards, but that's the Climbing Zine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Matt Moreau. If you didn't remember my intro, I'm the founder and CEO of the Landmark Project. A little bit about me, because I think context matters. I'm not from Durango, I'm from South Carolina, and I think I might be the only person from my state here. Maybe, is there anybody else from the South? Okay, I'm so wrong. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. Nice. Thank you for being here. That it's a little hometown feel. It helps me out a lot. I'm talking a little bit about the Landmark Project today and how we've used events, and similar to what my co-panelists have found this success in their areas. It's interesting to me how different we are. We all three of us use events in different ways, but they're still such an important part of our brand. I started Landmark 10 years ago because as an artist, I was looking for personal creative fulfillment. I actually went to art school twice. I have 2 art degrees. I wanted to learn how to paint. I wanted to be a fine artist. So I did not set out on a CEO track. I did not set out to start a lifestyle brand. I wanted to make pictures of trees and clouds and make beautiful pictures of the parks that meant a lot to me. So over the last 10 years, I did not expect to all of a sudden have a lifestyle brand that was you've probably seen it in your local REI. We're in a lot of national park stores. We're in 1,500 independent retailers across the U.S. and even some overseas, basically anywhere where people love the national parks, or even more so beyond the parks, just our public lands, state forests. And many of you probably know us from Smokey Bear merchandise as well. That has all been a huge part of our brand story. And I like to consider myself a reluctant brand owner and kind of like a right brain CEO. So that gives you context on why we decided to incorporate some of these events and activations to bring and invite our community in and have content and community around what we do. One of the big milestones that we just reached was that we've surpassed our $1.5 million given back to Conservancy. And that's something that we started doing just a few years ago as we started to see that the negative impact that all of this post-pandemic pressure has on our parks and the desperate need for staffing and facilities and also just ecology care. So with that, we decided that it's not just enough to write a check and send it to a park. We need to start demonstrating what acts of service can do in your community. So my goal for today is to leave you with the promise that you can turn one day of volunteerism, one day of act of service into a season's worth of brand content, not just so that you can benefit your brand, but you're also doing a little good along the way in some of these national parks. So our approach to events is we don't do one big annual festival. Are you once a year? Okay, so we don't do one big annual festival, and we try to do 4 or 5 small boutique events that invite a lot of people in our network. Kind of like you were saying, you invite your retail partners, your affiliates, members of the media. That's our approach, so that we can create authentic content, so that we can strengthen our relationships, everything from nonprofits to affiliates to our retail stores. There's 2 retail stores here in Durango that carry our products that right after this is over, I'm going to go chat with them and visit them and see how our brand is merchandised. But the thinking through with a strategic approach to these events just really helps amplify a lot of the goals that your brand might have. It helps cut your paid content production costs. And I think that we've built a repeatable system that any brand, no matter what your size, if you're small, upcoming, just getting started, or if you're a big brand, if you're curious about how events can be part of your brand story, I think this is going to be really helpful. If you're like us, about a couple of years ago, post-pandemic, we hit this wall where we realized that traditional paid media was giving us diminishing returns. ROAS was declining, and we were seeing our ad costs skyrocket as more and more people discovered that you could put $1 in the machine and get a few dollars back. We were competing for the same keywords that we were with some of our retailers. And it was really causing us to start thinking more creatively about what we can be doing to differentiate ourselves and to find new ways of revenue. Additionally, we put so much work into affiliate and content creator relationships, but those were starting to feel really disingenuous. You've all probably watched your favorite content creators take an ad break and they're like, hey, just so you know, watch my ads. It really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And then you just click through them as fast as you can because you really don't care. And we were seeing ourselves being added into those ad blocks, and we're like, this is just not the best way to get our brand story out there. And then on the other side of this coin, with the diminishing returns that we're getting from ads, we're seeing the demand for content, new content, just higher than ever. There's new social media platforms. TikTok came on the scene. There's all this pressure to put your brand on these platforms and just serve up the same content with small changes so that it could be relevant to different demographics who are on all these different platforms. Exhausting and not sustainable, especially if you're doing your content in-house. So looking at this problem, we started asking ourselves, how can we stop just this machine of making more content just to do it and for it to be forgotten, and instead make content that's actually worth a damn, make content that's worth much more. So let's, instead of trying to buy our way into people's attention, just earn it by doing some acts of service and inviting people into what we're doing. So we reallocated some of our ad spend from Meta, which was one where we were seeing the most decline, into in-person events, which are volunteer opportunities that are really doubling as content creation opportunities and storytelling opportunities. But so that all that pressure wasn't on us as a team, we treated these as ways to invite in our affiliates, our retail brand partners, and members of the media. And we would just choose to find a location to host one of these events that's central to a nonprofit partner, central to a couple affiliates, and where we have some retail presence. So if you're actually taking an event like this as an opportunity to show people what your values are and not tell them, it just relieves so much pressure as a brand to like verbally remind your consumers, like, no, we really care about these things. We really do donate. They're seeing it in your content, and not only your content, but they're seeing it from your affiliates who are posting about it from a different perspective. And if you're a retail store, you're posting about it and you're telling your local community about it as well. And then, of course, there's the earned media component in addition to that. And if you're like us, we wanted to even further optimize our events. So we looked at all of the other objectives that our brand had. So seasonal content creation. We basically took everything for the next upcoming season that we had prototypes for. We packed it in a suitcase and we brought it with us. So everybody who's at this event is wearing new Landmark gear and getting photographed in it for not just while they're doing acts of service, but also while we're milling around afterwards at the brewery and hanging out and having fun. Affiliate and content creator engagement. This was something that, we gave up. We cleared out our entire affiliate list not too long ago and just kept our core affiliates, which was a huge win for us because now we're able to really invest in those relationships, go where they are, and invite them into our events and have in-person interactions with them. Our retail partnerships has been amazing because we can actually use a retail location as a place to have registration or host some beers afterwards. So it brings people into their store and they're grateful for it. And of course, aligning with our nonprofits who otherwise we might only have relationships with over email. So having that FaceTime with them helps us understand their objectives, their priorities. And a lot of times it's the nonprofit who is actually helping lead the event because they know what the trail needs. They know what the park's biggest needs are at that time, and they have shovels. So we just bring the people. We created a framework that has kind of 6 wins per activation that we're trying to accomplish. So the seasonal photo and video content, engaging our affiliates, strengthening our nonprofit relationships, activating the local retailers, and generating that authentic storytelling for D2C and B2B channels. And then last but not least, and I'm like running through this list really quickly, but in the end, we're delivering a lasting benefit to a community in some way. And there's a moment where you forget why you got into the outdoor industry in the first place. So when this act of service is done, whatever it is, if you're fixing erosion, if you're building a new trail, if you're just picking up trash, you can kind of remember that kid who went to art school just so he could paint pictures of parks. And you look back on that with like a really fond viewpoint and think like, man, that feels really good to leave the place better than we found it. So in order to make this a repeatable, something that we can do over and over and over again, we created the playbook of simple 5 steps to align with a cause that means something to our brand, where we already have a brand story that's relevant, where we already have contacts that we can rely on. So if it's not local for us, it's somewhere like a metropolitan area like Denver or Seattle, or Moab, ironically, is a place that we've done a lot of activations. We bring in the affiliates who are within a short driving distance. We engage those retailers through invitations. We activate those. We do the activation by doing the service work. Again, the most important part of this. And it's so helpful to have the nonprofit partners kind of lead the way, lead the education part of this, because we take everything they say and then we can amplify that on all of our channels. So capturing the content, having a plan before we start to like, all right, we've got a video guy, we've got a YouTuber, we've got somebody who's a content creator and an influencer on Instagram, and we have a member of Mountain Gazette with us. So they're going to document it through words, they're going to document it through photo, video. Have a plan to share all these assets after the event. So whether it's a Dropbox folder, we use a digital asset management tool for this. And then when you come home, you plug all of these assets into your marketing calendar, and you have months worth of assets to draw from. And not all of it is just Joe with a shovel. So much of it is like the joy and the happiness you see on people's faces after doing something meaningful. And that is just so important for a brand like us to encourage other people to just find what are acts of service in your area, in your hometown. What are the small things that you can do with your friend group, with your climbing friends that are good for age 4 to 85, and get people out there doing some of this and set the example to do so. So what does all this get us? There is a tangible benefits to this, but I'm much more of the intangible benefits. Again, right brain CEO. But we have seen a reduction in our content production cost. If you're trying to do all your content in-house and you're outsourcing it, it costs a lot of money. And not only that, your creative control over what you get back from that is mixed results. So you may get some great stuff from a content creator, or you may get like their backyard. And for us who live in South Carolina, we will take any opportunity to get content from the West, because that looks so much more stunning. The West, the desert, the mountains, somebody in the Pacific Northwest, than our green tunnel, if you will. You increase your affiliate engagement and conversions. The affiliates who join us at these events, those affiliates become personal friends, and you're no longer stuck in the weeds of conversations about, how much upfront do I have to pay you to take a photo in our new sweatshirt? Instead, you send them a sweatshirt, they like you, they start wearing it, they post about it, and you have really nice recurring revenue from a core group of affiliates who you have personal relationships with. Also, another benefit of this is that a lot of times your events can be co-op funded by the nonprofit partner getting grant money. So the most recent event we did with the National Forest Foundation, they got grant money to basically buy all the media. So if you imagine like table tents, flags, banners, tablecloths, posters, all of the advertising in paper that they had to do before this event, they brought it together. So lots of tangible benefits, intangible benefits as well, which, as you can imagine, the feel good, the vibes around the brand that's showing you who they are and not just telling you goes a long way. So let me encourage you, start small, pick your 15 to 20 key guests, partner with the local nonprofit that you know, layer in those existing needs, capture content intentionally, and don't forget to share the results. Encourage other people to join you. This is my business card. I'm totally out. After a whole week or a couple of days of doing this, my cup is full, and I hope yours is as well. But I hope you left a little room to digest some of the content from this panel, because I think it could do a lot of good. Thank you all.
Yes.
So my question's kind of for Matt. If you are shooting all of your content with one event for the entire year, how do you ensure that content doesn't get stale?
Is this on? So we do 4 or 5 events a year. We have 2 seasons though. So each season we will probably photograph 2 or 3 times. So we'll see Rocky Mountain content, a little bit of Yosemite content, and then some local content as well. For at least one of these events, we'll come out early with our in-house photographer, and we'll hire models from a metropolitan area who can meet us. We'll scout out a location, and we'll do a serious, really intentional, photo shoot just for the website, just for some of our campaign materials. And this is completely different. We're just using the economy of scale of already being somewhere cool and being able to refresh the look of our website. So objective 1, get the photo shoot done. There's the shot list. We have all the outfits planned. Objective 2, next day, we're meeting volunteers. The stakes are a lot lower. You're just happy to see everybody with their phones out. And that's what you're trying to encourage. You're saying, all right, just in-house professional photography is not going to cut it. We actually really want to support the professional photography with the user-generated content. So we load that all up in the library. We start to use it. And then whatever we don't use, we'll repost from other people who are talking about the event in the weeks and even months afterwards. So we do kind of try to trickle it out in a good pace so that we don't have tons of lag time in between the events. And then there's, of course, strategies to fill in with other content in between events. So, we do try to do both professional and UGC for at least 2 of these events annually.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Hey, this question's for Matt. I already know MJ and Luke up there. My name is Leland. I work at Osprey in the marketing team. My question for you is, around bringing in affiliates and content creators. What's the response rate with bringing those people in? I think sometimes getting people to do things in real life can be a challenge. I guess what's the response rate around that? And also, do you pay them to come out? What do you pay them a standard UGC fee if it's a content creator? What does payment look like for these folks that you're inviting?
That's a good question. It's case by case. Of course, I mean, we've done everything from flying somebody in and paying them upfront to just an open invitation and saying, hey, if you want to come, we'll cover your costs. Just let us know what they are. And the ones that are actually the most rewarding for us are some of the lower level content creators who they have an earnestness to them and their work, and they're really passionate about the parks. They share that passion with you. My rule of thumb is if somebody has an agent, it's a no. I just don't even go there. We work directly with content creators, and we pay them anywhere between $400 and $1,000 to participate up front. And that's for like the paid relationships. If it's somebody who is just getting started but has good content, has good storytelling skills, we'll just invite them and we'll say, we'll pay your mileage, we'll put you up in we camp, so it's really not expensive to put them up at a campsite and actually make camp meals for them. It's really quite fun. So we use AvantLink to manage our affiliate relationships. And I found it most successful to reach out to affiliates directly, not through the platform, but basically work out directly to the affiliate and go right into their DMs, say, we're going to be in Yosemite September 25th. We have room for 6 people. We'd love you to be one of them. And a lot of times the affiliate will either say like, yes, count me in, I'm there, or they'll say, yes, here's my rate. And you just have to look at their content and try to decide if it's right for you. A good blend is really helpful. Also, the blend makes it a really good experience for an affiliate, so that they're with affiliates who are charging for their work, who are farther along in their career. So they're networking amongst themselves. They develop a friendship. They're posting each other's content. So again, mutually beneficial. The reciprocity behind all these events is so cool to watch it play out afterwards. That's one of those like intangible benefits that you can't talk about those. So, but do you guys have any comments on that as well? I know you bring affiliates in.
Yeah, we just look at our top performing affiliates and we say, hey, if you can get here, we'll take care of you. And like, we don't really coddle them when we get them there. We just let them meet who they want in the community and have a fun time. And we see them on Sunday and they're like, we had a blast. We're like, great. That's what we wanted, you to just understand our brand and come here and have fun. So we've had success with bringing affiliates there. And like you said, it just kind of is a natural relationship then from there on out.
I'll add too that we offer instead of paying upfront, we'll just tell them like, the minute you post, you get a bonus. And so we'll give them a generous commission, usually like 20 to 25%. And just to ensure that they actually follow through, we'll say like, your fee is just going to be a bonus. And as soon as you start posting about us, it's going to hit your account. So it's a nice, like, safe way of going about it.
Sweet. Thanks, guys.
Thank you all.